It was another sunny day in Phoenix. We've had a lot of them of late, so many in fact that we came close to reaching a record number of days without rain. Why are things so much drier than usual, and what does the forecast show? We ask ASU climatologist Randy Cerveny, who joins us now. Good to see you again. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
Usually you come here with rotten news, and I got a feeling you're going to live up to the bill here tonight. What happened? What's been going on here the past few months?
We've had what's called a ridge. It basically is where is the jet stream. Right now, for the last 3 months, the jet stream has been arcing up over the Pacific Ocean and then hitting Oregon and Washington. So that Seattle and Portland, those are the cities that have been getting a fair amount of rain this last fall and into the winter. But that means all the storms are up there, not coming down into California and Arizona.
That sounds like La Nina. Is that La Nina?
That is perfect La Nina. That is exactly the textbook definition of what we expect.
Is this a strong La Nina?
Well, it's just started, so it's not technically strong yet, but given the strength of the changes that made in the jet stream, I think it will intensify into a pretty strong La Nina.
And that means rain here and even snow in the high country, not where it needs to be at all.
Yeah, the entire state is going to be dry, basically, is unfortunately what we're going to be looking at.
Yeah, and I think we have a map here. You brought a map here of the forecast for what we should be seeing here as far as precipitation is. You know, goodness gracious, Randy.
We don't like those brown colors, and when you start to see that parts of the state are in extreme brown, that means that there's very little likelihood of having storms coming into that part of the country. And as I said, the places that are going to get the rain are the ones that we normally kind of think of, because La Nina is the common one. El Nino is the abnormal one. With La Nina, we're having the rains up in the northwest.
And this is February, March, and April.
Yeah.
Things start drying out in May and June.
Exactly. So it is possible, I hate to say this, but it is possible we may not get rain until the monsoon.
Oh, geez. Does it feel like a new normal? Does this feel like something that we better get used to?
What we have, there are two things. There's the short-term cause, and that's La Nina. The long-term cause is that the subtropical high, the arcing high pressure that forces that jet stream up north is getting stronger and intensifying pretty much each and every year. So yes, this is becoming the new normal.
Is there a reason why it's intensifying?
Well, under climate change, under the changing situation that we have, the dry belt around 30 degrees north around the world gets bigger. And we're close to that, and it's expanding into our direction.
All right, so we got a monster La Nina that's heading our way. It's already done its business, and it hasn't really even started yet. Can a La Nina just, for whatever reason, flip and become an El Nino, or at least become a lowercase La Nina?
Not usually very quickly, because as I say, El Nino is the abnormal situation. It takes a while for the Pacific Ocean to change its temperature characteristics.
Yes.
It's just now getting cold. It's going to take a lot of heat, a lot of energy to push that warm water back over towards us.
Do we often see successive La Ninas? And
yes.
We do.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we just saw that just a few years ago. We had 3 consecutive years of La Nina, so.
All right, well, let's get rid of it.
I wish I had more.
Let's find something else to talk about. How about temperatures? You got a map with temperatures too, don't you?
I mean, I'll put it this way. Maybe the Chamber of Commerce is going to like this, because our 2 favorite words are going to be the norm here: hot and dry. So we're not only going to be dry, but we're going to be hot. And that's going to actually be starting next week. So during the Phoenix Open, we're not going to have rain, even though the myth is that we should have rain during the Phoenix Open. Not going to happen.
Yeah, and in spring training baseball, usually got a couple of rainy days.
Right.
But this is, again, February, March, and April, and it's like it starts in Arizona when it goes eastward here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is...
We're looking at temperatures starting even next week up into the 80s. So, we've been locked this last few weeks in a kind of cold snap, but now we're going to get up into the 80s.
Does any of your maps, your wonderful maps here, do any of they say anything about the summer?
No, the summer is always a harder thing to forecast, because it's based on kind of localized things. How fast do we get heat up? How much moisture is down in the Gulf of California to be pushed up into us? So those things are a little harder, but I mean, this is not looking well, because if we're hot and dry through the spring, keep in mind that's going to be fire
Yes.
season like we may not have seen in quite some time.
And look at how the temperatures. I mean, the southern half of the United States up on into the eastern seaboard. I mean, that's global warming, Randy.
That is global warming. And the La Nina is causing cloudiness up in the northwest, so that's why we have the below normal temperatures up in Oregon and Washington.
How soon can we start rooting for an El Nino next year, or at least next winter?
I'm thinking probably at least 2 or 3 years away before we have an El Nino.
All right, Randy.
I wish I had better news.
We need to start reconsidering asking you on here.
What that means is that with our improved forecasting, we can get prepared and we can hopefully manage water, we can manage wildfires better because they are going to be happening. That's the take-home message.
Yeah, I guess one thing is not a lot of rain means not a lot of vegetation, which not a lot to burn, but that's kind of a rough way to look at it.
Right, but what vegetation will be there will be dried up.
Yeah, exactly.
So it becomes tender.
Randy Cerveny, ASU climatologist. Good to have you here. Good to see you again.
Well,
Kinda, sorta.